Rock and roll was born in loud, sweaty clubs, but some artists wanted more than volume.
We will rock you. One more time.
They turned the stage into an execution chamber, a dystopian city, a medieval castle.
Fire to destroy all you've done.
From fire-breathing demons to high-wire stunts, these are the 13 rock stars who turned concerts into theater. Number 13, David Bowie.
There's a starman waiting in the sky.
With every new tour, bands like to mix things up. They tweak the set, adjust the wardrobe. But for Bowie, a new tour meant a new character. Ziggy Stardust, Halloween Jack, the Thin White Duke. Each persona came with its own world. The Stardust era blended mime-influenced movement, shaped by Bowie's work with Lindsay Kemp, with bold, Japanese-inspired stage imagery and stylized makeup.
Ziggy played for time, jiving us that we were.
The sharp silhouettes, dramatic gestures, and that shock of red hair made him feel less like a rock frontman and more like a character stepping out of another universe. By the 1974 Diamond Dogs tour, Bowie was performing inside a dystopian cityscape he called Hunger City, built around a massive multi-ton set with moving bridges and towering scaffolds. It proved so expensive and mechanically complex that he scaled it back mid-tour, shifting toward a sleeker, soul-driven presentation. The artist at number 12, however, didn't need a single prop. He turned his own body into the special effect. Number 12, Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop wasn't just putting on a show, he was tearing down the barrier between himself and the audience. He didn't want distance, he wanted confrontation. Early rock journalist Lillian Roxon wrote about the way Iggy turned concerts into something volatile, sometimes leaving audiences visibly shaken. More than once, he would step off the stage, grab someone in the crowd, and lock eyes with them until the moment went from exciting to uncomfortable. During the Funhouse era, he rolled in broken glass under the lights and kept performing. At the Cincinnati Pop Festival in 1970, a fan handed him a jar of peanut butter mid-song. He smeared it across his chest and carried on.
That's peanut butter.
He's often credited as one of the first musicians to stage dive, throwing himself into the crowd before it even had a name. Some credit Iggy Pop's confrontational style as laying the groundwork for punk rock.
I am a passenger, and I ride.
While Iggy stepped on stage shirtless, our next rock star stepped on stage dressed like a Norse god from the pages of Lord of the Rings. Number 12, Rick Wakeman. During Yes's early years, Rick Wakeman faced a strange critique. He just didn't look rock and roll enough. One reviewer even mocked his awkward movements, describing him as a demented spider, with arms and legs flying everywhere as he darted between keyboards and pedals. So Wakeman found a legendary solution. While playing a show in Hartford, Connecticut, he spotted a local radio DJ wearing a cape. Realizing it was the perfect way to hide those spider-like movements, he offered the man $200 and bought it right off his back. By their 1973 tour, the transformation was complete. The shows began with the soaring sounds of Stravinsky's Firebird Suite before a single spotlight hit Wakeman, draped in an elaborate cape, surrounded by a horseshoe of keyboards. Wakeman played like a wizard. But our next band was straight out of a Universal horror movie. Number 10, Death SS. Every member of Death SS dressed as a different monster. A vampire, a werewolf, a zombie, a mummy, and a phantom straight out of gothic horror. The costumes were only the beginning. The real nightmare was the reputation that followed them. In their early years, stories circulated about the band slipping into abandoned cemeteries after dark and carrying off whatever they could find. Broken coffins, old headstones, even human skulls.
Let the Sabbath begin.
At one show, a man in the crowd reportedly froze when he thought he recognized his grandfather's headstone sitting on the stage. Whether every detail was myth or not hardly mattered. The shock was real. Shows often spiraled into chaos, and police were sometimes called when things went too far. The next band used skulls too, but not just as props. They built entire black mass rituals around them. Number 9, Coven. That wasn't just a name. The band really considered themselves a practicing coven. Frontwoman Jinx Dawson wove her interest in the occult directly into the stage show. The performers dressed in flowing capes. The stage was lit with candlelight, and throughout the show, a Jesus look-alike hung on a cross in the background. For the finale, the look-alike would come down and invert the cross while Dawson shouted, "Hail Satan!" In March 1970, an Esquire magazine piece during the Manson-era panic pulled Coven into the conversation around occult influence. The controversy was enough for Mercury Records to withdraw their 1969 album, Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls, from circulation. The shock value didn't stop there. Coven was using the horns gesture in rock imagery years before Ronnie James Dio would popularize it in metal.
You'll go to hell.
Coven made the stage feel dangerous. The next act made it feel enormous. Number 8, Queen.
We will rock you. One more time.
It started with Freddie Mercury's style. Early on, it was sequined bodysuits and painted nails, pure glam. But as the 70s wore on, the venues kept getting bigger, and so did the ambition. By the late 70s, their tours featured towering crown-themed lighting rigs that turned arenas into royal courts. By the mid-80s, in front of more than 300,000 people at Rock in Rio, Mercury had the crowd exactly where he wanted them. He'd throw a melody into the night and wait. Then hundreds of thousands of voices answered back. He stretched it, cut it off, built it again. The room moved when he moved. By 1986, with the mustache, leather, and white tank top, the glam was gone, but the control was absolute. At Nebworth, Queen's final live show, he closed with "God Save the Queen," wrapped in a red velvet cloak and wearing a crown modeled after St. Edward's crown. He walked off slowly, letting the moment land. The next band never made it anywhere near as big as Queen, and many think that's because they were just too weird. Number 7, The Tubes. With concerts closer to cabaret than rock shows, The Tubes used a scripted variety show to mock rock and roll's own decadence. Lead singer Fee Waybill played a cast of grotesque characters, but none were as famous as Quaalude, a burnt-out glam star in a blonde fright wig and 12-inch platform boots made from tomato juice cans. Waybill would stumble across the stage, throwing drugs at the audience, flour for cocaine, before his character eventually overdosed and collapsed beneath a towering stack of prop amplifiers. The satire was a hit. The spectacle was expensive. Years of financing their own elaborate productions eventually left the band roughly $500,000 in debt. The decadence they mocked would only get bigger, as you'll see with our next artist's immersive fantasy epics. Number 6, Dio. Ronnie James Dio didn't just sing about mythology, he wanted to live it. For the Sacred Heart Tour, he transformed the stage into a medieval castle, crowned by a massive 18-foot animatronic dragon nicknamed Denzel. The real spectacle came during the title track. Dio would draw a glowing magic sword and battle the dragon mid-stage, beams of light flashing as pyrotechnics erupted around the beast.
Sometimes you need it all. You have to read.
It was a massive financial gamble. The elaborate sets and effects reportedly cost around $250,000 to build and transport. But it paid off when the band brought the production to arenas like the Philadelphia Spectrum and Madison Square Garden. His vision set the template for the kind of arena metal spectacle that followed.
We rock. We rock. We.
From mythological lyrics to the man who called himself the God of Hellfire. Number 5, Arthur Brown.
Fire to destroy all you've done.
Arthur Brown wanted a mythic persona to deliver rock music with operatic intensity. He wore flowing robes and stark black and white face paint, moving across the stage with wild, ritualistic gestures. But the centerpiece was his helmet. During performances of Fire, Brown wore a metal headpiece rigged with fuel that sent flames shooting several feet into the air. Fire alarms were triggered. Venue managers panicked. More than once, stagehands had to extinguish him. It wasn't the fire that caused the most trouble. It was when he took everything off. Brown had a habit of stripping naked on stage, and after doing so at the Palermo Pop 70 Festival in Italy, he was arrested.
Eyes can never tell you lies. It's so.
He made a spectacle out of shock and danger. But our next artist built theater by matching the show precisely to the mood of the music. Number 4, Peter Gabriel.
Watching on the skies, what you want.
For Gabriel, just singing Genesis songs wasn't enough. He wanted to become the character inside them. Each costume was tied to a specific story. Armor for dancing with the moonlit night, fluorescent wings for Watcher of the Skies, and during The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, the grotesque Slipper Man covered in bulbous, slime-like lumps.
Why don't you touch me, why don't you touch.
It was the fox head and red dress, first worn in 1972, that made the front page of Melody Maker and gave Genesis national exposure. Gabriel later admitted he hadn't exactly asked the band for approval, but costumes were only part of it. He set off magnesium flares. He flew above the stage on wires. At Friars in Aylesbury in June 1971, he leapt into the crowd during The Knife, broke his ankle, and kept going. Gabriel matched theater to the mood of the music. The next band would turn the entire arena into the stage. Number 3, Pink Floyd.
All in all, it's just another brick in the wall.
Pink Floyd didn't just put on concerts, they treated sound, light, and space as instruments. As early as 1967, they were experimenting with quadraphonic setups, moving sound around venues with 4-channel systems years before surround sound became standard. By the time they were performing The Dark Side of the Moon live, clocks, heartbeats, and voices didn't just play, they moved across the arena. Lighting, mirror balls, smoke, and film projections added another layer, syncing imagery directly to the music.
Another brick in the wall.
Then came The Wall Tour in 1980 and 81. Each night, a 35-foot wall of cardboard bricks was built across the stage, gradually sealing the band from the audience. Towering inflatable figures, the mother, the wife, and the school teacher loomed overhead. During Comfortably Numb, David Gilmour appeared high above the crowd, revealed in darkness atop the completed wall on a hydraulic lift. By the end of the night, you weren't just watching a band, you were inside the story.
All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
The next band turned themselves into icons you could recognize from the back row. Number 2, Kiss. The Star Child, the Demon, the Spaceman, the Catman. Their names are as iconic as their platform boots. Kiss wanted to create an unmistakable identity, and they did. But it was more than white face paint and black leather. Their shows featured flashpots, explosions, and oceans of dry ice. Peter Criss's drum kit rose into the air during solos. Ace Frehley's guitar began to smoke as if it had caught fire, and Gene Simmons spit fake blood across the stage. Simmons would learn early that theatrics came with a cost. On New Year's Eve 1973, during a performance of Firehouse, Simmons debuted his fire-breathing routine after being taught by a magician hired by management, and accidentally set his hair ablaze. It didn't slow them down. Between 1977 and 1979 alone, the band reportedly generated an estimated $100 million in merchandise sales. Everyone on this list earned their spot. Number 1 goes to the inventor of shock rock. Number 1, Alice Cooper. While some rock shows were chaos, everything at an Alice Cooper concert was chosen for a specific reason. Frontman Vincent Fournier, who would legally change his name to Alice Cooper in 1975 after the original band split, built a macabre villain's look. He leaned into black eyeliner inspired by Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and the blade flash menace he picked up from Anita Pallenberg in Barbarella. Then he turned the show into a morality play with set pieces you could recognize in silhouette. The night usually ended in a staged execution, hanging, electric chair, or the most infamous one of all, the guillotine. Designed and operated as part of the act by magician James Amazing Randi, it became a nightly highlight on the 1973 Billion Dollar Babies tour. The blade dropped, the head rolled. Other signature moments included a live boa constrictor, bloodied baby dolls, dancing teeth, and later a towering furry cyclops during the Welcome to My Nightmare era. After Alice Cooper, a rock concert didn't feel complete without a little danger in it. That's how rock shows stopped being concerts and started becoming events. Which one shocked you the most? And who did we miss? Let us know in the comments.